Hey guys, welcome back. This is part two of the Supra build. The first video was basically introduction, and after this part two video, I'm basically going to stop, maybe calling it part this, part that, because I might forget after a couple of parts. So as of right now, part two, I'm gonna go ahead and start taking this car apart. And my plan is the next day or two, I want to pull this motor out. Like I mentioned in the introduction video, I already had the trans out, and I had sold the trans last week on Friday. Today is Thursday. What is it? December 2nd, 2021, and it's 10 p.m. and my kids are sleeping, and I'm in the garage, just basically start taking shit apart in this car. So my goal today is get this turbo out, get the intake out, the intake pipings out. I'm gonna get the catch cans out, tape those two fittings up just so there's no dirt going in. Get the intercooler piping below out, my exhaust side completely taken apart. I'm gonna try to start taking a couple of the hoses off, and then getting the possible the oil drain as well, and then coolant drain. I hate dealing with fluids, especially coolant and transmission fluid and power steering fluid. Oil, I don't care as much, but those other fluids, they're annoying, they're sticky, they smell. Hate dealing with them. So I'm gonna start taking apart stuff, see how far I get to. I'm gonna try to get to the radiator out today too as possible. And then I do need to start going inside the car and take the harness out, or some wires I need to cut that had been hardwired without easy disconnect. So I'm gonna try to see if I can get to that today in the next 2 hours. Usually I work in the garage for 2 hours after my kids sleep. So I'm gonna try to see how far I get to. And then I'm definitely not going to take the intake out because I hate dealing with fuel at night and then going straight to bed. So that's going to be for either tomorrow or Saturday morning. So where I can open the garage and let the fumes out, and we'll see what happens from there. But the goal right now is get this side out. I was going to record obviously the duration of me taking this out and record it for you guys, but I can't find my selfie stick, the stand that I use to record videos. I don't know where I put it, and I cannot find it, and I'm not going to waste time looking for it where I can be utilizing my time taking this car apart right now. So with that being said, I will follow up with you guys as after I take this stuff out, and give you guys an update. And then obviously I'm going to continue this video. Obviously this is going to be cut short after this conversation, and then the next part will be just me showing you guys the empty side of this. And then hopefully I'll order a stick today, Amazon, probably get it delivered by tomorrow, so I can have more content as I'm doing stuff, so that way you guys can see. And then I'll be having a lot of step-by-steps on a lot of stuff that's going back into the car and how it's installed and what I'm planning on doing with this car. This car, just to give you guys a quick background, I don't want to talk too much. Obviously, people like to see stuff, not, people talking a lot of stuff. This car I bought this as a barnyard find with 65,000 miles on it. This was in McHenry, Illinois. A guy before me buying it, he had it for 15 and a half years. And I bought this in 2008. I remember July 3rd, 2008. I went with my buddy Kevin, and we ended up, this was at a lake house. Bought it on the spot, and then it had an engine fire. The harnesses were burned. The 7M that was originally in this car, a lot of the stuff was burned, and I've never in my life worked on a car or knew how to help, anything about tools or anything like that. And I learned everything I know about cars from this car, just by rebuilding it, from that engine fire. And obviously then later on, years later, swapped this in, and then just been doing a lot more stuff and spending stupid amount of money on this car. So that's the backstory on this. So we'll see how far I get to tonight. A lot of big plans for this car, so stay tuned. I will have a lot of videos for you guys, I promise. Yeah, guys. Next video should be, next clip should be update of all this shit taken out already. All right. Hey guys, continuation of my part 2 video. I mentioned I didn't have my my phone to mount and record and show you guys my progress as I'm doing it, taking stuff out. But this is what the car looks like. I had only talked about in the video that I was going to take the exhaust side out, maybe possibly take the radiator out. But my thing is when I start, I don't stop. And now it's 12 o'clock, 12:05. It's time for bed. So far, I got the intake out, I got the exhaust side out, the turbo, the downpipe, the wastegate, the intake manifolds right there, my manifolds are there, turbos are there, the fans are there. I took the hood out just now. I did not realize how heavy this shit is until just now. Either I'm weak as shit or this thing weighs a ton. I got it on my diaper box, but yeah, it's just sitting now. I'm gonna move this into the basement tomorrow with the help of my wife. The engine's already loose. It's moving already. Reason being is because I had to the engine mount bolts already loosened because of the transmission when I took it out. Things that I left to do is I got to take that back low hose out. I got to undo the power steering and the fuel line, and then completely undo the engine bracket bolts, and then I should be able to pull this motor out tomorrow. And I also got to do the upper hose as well. So I can easily take this motor out tomorrow depending on how much I have work-wise to do. And also got to drain the oil. Forgot about that. So first thing in the morning, I'll drain the oil, take those hoses out, take the back hose out, and then take the fuel line out. I'll do the fuel line with the garage door open because I hate the smell. And then the power steering. So a couple of small things to do, and then the motor should come out. I got to go to my shed and get my engine stand, and then I will go ahead and lower this car, probably park the engine in front of the motor, and then I will go ahead and maybe possibly Saturday I'll push this car out and then basically undo pretty much majority of the stuff that I will not be using or will be using. And then I'm just going to go get an engine degreaser and then basically spray the shit out of it, power wash it as much as possible, get as much as grease as possible because there's a lot of grease on the subframe. There's grease on the motor block, the block itself, but I'm not going to pressure wash the block. I don't know what's happening here. Let me start over here. My pans are greasy down there. I don't know if you guys can tell in the video. Let me see. It's greasy down there. It's a little wet. I don't know what's going on here. There was my turbo mount was see, it's a grease back here too on this engine mount. I'm a little confused here because the turbo was not leaking at all. The turbo is brand new. Everything on the turbo, like fitting wise and everything, was secured, tightened completely. My feed and drain were completely tightened, so I know they're not leaking. So something tells me that there might be a very, very, very small hole that might be pushing out oil, probably due to crank pressure, possibly. So I am planning on taking those pans out and cleaning it up and then resealing it properly. And then on this side, I was really confused because this is wet. Same thing as the other side, but it's actually more wet on here. And I was a little confused. Can't tell in the video, but it's very confusing. It was very confusing because when I went underneath the car, it was like oil, like you can actually touch it. It wasn't grease, and I was confused what's going on here. And then I found out what's going on. This is leaking. My cam sensor. These, from what I understand, they don't sell the seal, the O-ring. You have to actually buy the whole sensor itself. Because I'm on Emu Black, we only use the backside. So I'm going to try to find out if there's a block plate for this so I can completely block this. And then maybe see if anybody is actually making seals for those, the O-rings. From my understanding, I know nobody makes those. You have to actually buy them from Toyota, but that was years ago. I know a lot of companies now like PHR, Real Street, maybe Self Performance might know, or may carry the product. So I'll have to do some research on that. So there's my 2 oil leaks. So I don't know what the hell's going on the exhaust side, but the intake side, I figured out where my oil leaks coming from, and my whole greasy block. So all this is gonna get cleaned up. The engine bay is gonna get cleaned up. You know, obviously, this is what I'm not happy about right here. This is all coolant. As you can see, it's burnt, like brownish, rusty. This is somewhat my fault because I had the reservoir sitting here, and it wasn't, the drain side of it was basically not to outside. It was actually sitting here. So this is all gonna get cleaned up. So when I'm done with it, it's gonna look very nice, but it's gonna be a long process, guys. Stay tuned. I'm almost got this motor out, and then step by step, baby step. I gotta get the engine bay painted. I gotta figure out how I need to get this prepped. I gotta take a lot of this shit out, and I will be taking the ABS out as well, getting rid of a majority of the stuff, and then we'll see where we go with this car as we go along, because things do change along the way. So stay tuned, guys. Again, thanks for watching. If you are new to my channel, subscribe, please. There will be more content. All right, everybody, have a good night.